the dawn of capitalism, when corporations as mighty as nations rule the seas and dominate the world's valuable trade routes. With an iron fist, they forge a path of tyranny and exploitation, igniting a battle for global supremacy. From the Indian Ocean, a flood of exotic goods feed new addictions and fill coffers with coins tainted in blood. And where there is blood, there are predators.
So welcome guys, today we are reviewing Skull and Bones that has finally found its way to launch. 6 separate delays and several different concepts that were forced to walk the plank might make you understandably apprehensive about Ubisoft's long-brewing pirate game. But after spending over 60 hours hoisting sails and swabbing decks, I've had a whole lot of co-op fun with friends and strangers alike. The 17th century Indian Ocean works well as a vast open world to be explored and plundered. The RPG mechanics are deep with opportunities for build crafting alongside your fellow scurvy dogs. In the naval combat, you'll spend nearly all your time on the high seas engaging with is tactical and consistently entertaining. Predictably, there are still some major concerns common with always online games nowadays, including performance issues and bugs aplenty, as well as a very small list of in-game activities that become monotonous and grindy in short order. Skull and Bones might not be the 4A man of war Ubisoft was hoping for just yet, but with a strong start to a live service that's got a year of upcoming content mapped out, it's already quite seaworthy. Skull and Bones is fairly unique in the grand scheme of open-world RPGs in that it gives you direct control of a ship and lets you sail the ocean as you pillage ports and send enemy vessels to Davy Jones' locker in search of loot and infamy. Alone or alongside the ships of up to 2 friends as a fleet, you'll gather resources and complete action-packed heists to feed your greed and climb Jacob's progression ladder as you power up your vessel, which is usually a blast. Though it might be tempting to compare this online ocean to Sea of Thieves, Skull and Bones actually has more in common with the Forza Horizon series. They're both over-the-top, arcade open-world RPGs where you play as a vehicle, except instead of racing cars with friends you're committing piracy in boats, a CRPG to Forza Horizon's CarPG, if the court will allow it. And that laser focus on wonderfully intricate maritime gameplay and economy simulation is extremely enjoyable most of the time, even if you never get to swing a sword or fire a flintlock like in Assassin's Creed Black Flag. While it's a bit odd at first that you only ever explore the world by controlling your ship, it took just a few hours for me to not feel like I was missing out on much. That's primarily thanks to how good the ship-to-ship combat quickly becomes. After a fairly underwhelming opening meant to help you get your sea legs with the glorified hunk of driftwood you'll call your starting ship, things really open up. Once you start to upgrade and customize your vessel to fit your playstyle, then tackle some of the more challenging areas and activities that require you to seriously up your game, Ubisoft's strict focus on naval fights works a lot better than I thought it would. You'll need to participate in Skull and Bones PvP activities, which don't appear until later on, adding a neat new wrinkle to things right as they start feeling stale with the overwhelmingly PvE foundation. Hostile Takeover is a delightfully sweaty slugfest where participants sail to a settlement and fight for control over it by seeing who can down the most enemy ships, while legendary heists send everyone to attack the same convoy carrying treasure. Then let them turn on one another to claim it as their own. There are also cool moments where you'll sometimes be offered an opportunity to double your dividends when picking up the resources generated by one of your bases, but only if you agree to become hunted by all the other players on the server, who then come zooming across the waves to rip you off. These isolated PvP events are a nice compromise from having griefers constantly attack everyone all the time, since you've got to opt into each of them, but the reward is usually worth the trouble. Skull and Bones isn't the successor to Assassin's Creed Black Flag that many seem to want, and it isn't many of things Ubisoft itself said it would be at various points in its storied history. But the seafaring RPG we ultimately got is still surprisingly good. Sailing around the Indian Ocean firing cannons, mortars, and giant ballista at your foes is a fun time. The RPG mechanics and cooperative build crafting is as deep as the ocean with plenty of awesome gadgets to grind for. And the economy simulator is impressively in-depth. It doesn't quite fulfill the promise of a decade-long cruise to port yet either, with a thin endgame, almost no story to speak of, and general instability that sometimes makes the adventure feel like a rough draft. But here's hoping some of those shortcomings can be washed away by the waves of content already planned to come in an ambitious live service roadmap that's fast approaching. For now, its maiden voyage is a good start. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, be sure to visit my channel for more top-notch gaming content. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you in the next video.